Hey, juniors, how you doing? Welcome back after a long holiday weekend. I hope you got some time to refresh, renew, recharge, get yourself ready to go. We are now heading straight into the end of the semester. We have After today, we have 9 class days left before finals week. We've got less than 3 weeks left in the semester, so things are coming together very quickly for you. All of that just kind of combines with the stress at the end of the semester. All your classes are probably trying to jam things in, like the things that they want to get done or need to get done or whatever. They're jamming those things in at you. Plus maybe you're behind on some other things. So there's just a lot going on. And I do want to encourage you to try to do what you can to stay focused and stay up to date with everything, because you don't want to fall behind. We don't have a ton of time left in the semester, and we want you to be set up to have the best outcome to the semester. Let's take a look at what we got going on today. Our essential question today that we'll start with is, what is the connection between personality traits and motivation? So when we look at characterization, theme is made up of a lot of different pieces. And one of the things about theme that we'll look at a lot is the character. What is the character doing, and why is the character doing it? What are their motivations? And so by really examining the character, we can learn something about the theme, right? Or the theme becomes clear based on what the characters were doing and why. So we're going to be looking at characterization specifically today. And then as we go through the week, we're really going to develop it into that theme. And what we're going to be looking at today is the character Tituba. So let's take a look at the assignment. But before we do that, let's jump here on the 80s movie quote of the day, which comes to us from Rambo. Rambo was a vet that comes back and feels that society is not giving him his due. And is kind of taking revenge on those that weren't really respecting him. He says, I think they've surrounded themselves. And Colonel Trotman, who is the colonel trying to talk him down, is like, you picked a hell of a time for humor, John. So it was just this really contrast in this very serious, deadly situation and him trying to be funny. So let's take a look at today's assignment, practice 1128, characterization. And this again is Tituba. So we're getting into the actual play of the Crucible. We've looked at a lot of pieces around it. Now we're going to look at some of the specific characters. Today we're going to look at Tituba. She is the slave of Reverend Paris. And one of the things that we find very quickly in the story is this power dynamic. Who has power? Why do they have power? And what do they do with that power? Now, Tituba, as the slave, has no power at all. She has no position. She has no respect. No one gives her any due. And so everything just kind of rolls down on her. This comes at the beginning of the story, the beginning of the play, in which these girls come down stricken with something, a mystery ailment, and immediately everybody assumes it's the devil. They want to know where they might have come in contact with the devil. And of course, Tituba becomes prime suspect number one for a couple different reasons. Obviously, because she is a slave. She is from Barbados, which they would have considered to be a godless kind of country. She has different religious ways. She speaks differently than them. She, of course, is a different race than these people, so that plays in. And the fact that as the servant of the house, she was taken out by the girls into the woods where they would have, or where they kind of convinced her into doing one of her rituals. And so they believe that because of all these things, not just who and what she is, but what she did with the girls, she invited the devil into them. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at Tituba here. We've got and I'll go ahead and pull it up here for you. We have a chunk of the story that we will look at specifically. We'll listen to it as well. And we'll see some dialogue between some of the different characters. But in the end, we're going to really focus in on, what did you see? So when you look at the character, when you look at what's going on, what kind of personality traits do we see? And what were those motivations? Why did they do the things that they do? What were the things that are going on internally that kind of shaped their action? Okay. And then we're going to look at the question here is, what is something the character did directly related to the motivation, right? When you think of this action, Why do they do that? Well, because it's this motivation, this thing that really made them do that. And then what do you think of the character? What is your kind of connection or your relation or your reaction to the character? This is a pretty straightforward piece, but we're going to use this to build throughout when we add in the different characters, Abigail tomorrow, John Proctor the rest of the week, and when we really try to pull all those pieces together. So, again, I do want you to make sure that you get a really good handle on the character. We're really focusing in on the motivations and the internal aspects of this character. If you have any questions at all, please make sure you're reaching out to Miss McGuire so that we can give you that help. And good luck, everybody.